But again, on common date stuff, mint state 62, mint state 63, common dates, you know, you're looking at $45 across the board on coins like this. I bet this thing is $400 somewhere right now. Okay, but when you go turn it in, it's gonna be $118.
Welcome to the Vault & Co., St. Augustine, Florida.
Whether you're a seasoned collector, investor, or just love incredible treasures, you've come to the right place. We specialize in rare coins, gold and silver bullion, fine jewelry, luxury designer handbags, and sports cards, bringing you expert insights, honest advice, and amazing finds every week. So be sure to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. Hey guys, good to see you. I'm gonna do an unusually longer video today, and I just thought it'd be interesting if you saw the behind the scenes in my head about how I look at a coin collection, a larger than usual coin collection. Like, how do I dissect it? How do I break it apart? A lot of people come to coin dealers or coin stores and they've printed out an Excel spreadsheet. They've looked up every single wheat penny, its condition, what they feel it's worth. They've coin snapped it. And I realize that not every coin dealer is like me. Maybe I'm normal, maybe I'm not. You can be the judge. But I'm going to be honest with you about what's going on in my head after 20 years, 4 different stores, and a very successful business. You know, how do I buy? What's my buying philosophy? What do I think about this product when it comes across the table? And we've got quite a bit of ground to cover, but I'm going to be blunt. And so I'm going to show you how it is and what I think about it. So this first setup here, you know, and I haven't seen most of this. One of my employees went through it, you know, 1965. So I know that this is 40% silver, okay? So I'm not even going to look at it. It's just going to be categorized to the side as the 40% silver pile. 40% silver. Now this one is not, this one's probably straight. But when I see sets like this, and most, you know, coin dealers that have been around a while, they're going to look at this, and if they'll even take it, they're going to be at $1 over the face value. So in my head, I'm sitting here like $3, $3, you know, and if anybody wants to call me up and give me $5 for it, done. You know, like as many of these as you want. I know there's a lot of whatnotters out there, so it might be good for you. And that's kind of why I'm going through this with you and telling you in my head, if you're on one of those whatnot streams and you're bidding this set up to $15 and $20, don't be surprised when you take it one day to a coin store and you're not getting over $5 in value for it. You know, if they'll take it at all, $2, $3, $1 or $2 over face value, that's what all of this is. And on this, we're looking at the melt value. Yes, I understand there are the small date mint set, or there's like a 1979 or something like that. There was an odd set. That's the exception. You know, we'll look at that, but 99% of this stuff is going to be slightly over melt, slightly over face value, and that is it. And so I've got a checklist, and I'm going on the side, and I'm counting up the units, and I'm looking at it from that perspective. Now this is a little bit different. This is a little bit earlier in an original holder, the 57. I don't think it's fully complete because there should be a white little sleeve in here. But this is a little bit better than normal. Some of these sets do bring a couple dollar premium, but that is all. Basic mint sets, again, just slightly over face. Yes, again, there is that 2015, one of these sets that's worth more. These are, I'm talking about in generalization when we're looking at this stuff. Silver proof sets, I cannot tell you how many of these. I looked at one of the major coin buyers right now. Melt on this was like $95. We can bring it up real quick. I like to use Coinflation. It's a real easy site to go to. I'm giving you some valuable information here. Coinflation.com, silver coin values, and I can go right to the proof sets, and it tells me that the proof sets are $85, okay? $85. Major wholesale dealers are paying $70 and $72 for this. So if you just have one of these and you go on eBay and you go into a coin store and say, Brian, I saw this selling for $119.99 on eBay, you're right. You have one coin collection that you have to get rid of. You can put it up on eBay. You can wait a week, a year for somebody to give you $120 for this. You do the shipping, you pay the fees, you're gonna net $100. But at a coin store with 6 employees and $100,000 worth of product coming and going every single week, we don't have time to concentrate on every single little unit. So it becomes time, the time value of your money. So we're gonna burn and turn. So we're gonna be paying something like them. You know, if the major bullion houses are only paying $70 a piece for these, then we're only gonna be at 65, 70 as well. We have to take all the market risk. You have one coin collection you have to get rid of. I have $40,000 worth that I have to get rid of, and I need to get rid of it in the next couple of days. So I don't have the luxury of putting up every single piece and waiting and comping and everything is top dollar. In my mind, and I would imagine most coin dealers' minds, it's how liquid is this? How fast can we move it? And what's its bottom dollar raw value? So yeah, you're looking at, you know, $60, $70 a unit for stuff like this, and that's under melt, okay? I can't tell you how many of these we have ripped apart, threw them into a change jar and gotten rid of. And so all of this whole thing, this whole box, okay? This is all stuff that I would sell you at slightly over face value. You're talking about a couple dollars over face value. All you have to do is beat the wholesalers. Do you want this at melt? $85. Call me up. It's yours. 85 bucks. Okay? Because you're beating some of the bigger boys. They're only going to pay 70. And I got to get rid of all of these. I'll make you a great deal on the whole box. Okay? So that's what's going on in our head when we see all this stuff. Unless you got a giant whatnot stream, which we do. It's the Vault & Co., right? Okay, so it's the Vault & Co. on Whatnot, and some of this product might find its way there because, frankly, the Real Coin Guy Facebook group, we can't put on more than 10 items a day on the Real Coin Guy Facebook group. How do I move 100 products in a day? I'm going to have to be forced to go to Whatnot. What's in the next box? This stuff's even worse, okay? This is all pure junk, mint set, proof set stuff. You know, it is face value at best, a buck or two over. That's what I would sell it all to you for. Get rid of it, get it out of my face. That's how I feel about it when it comes in the door. A lot of you guys are out there paying $15 and $20 a piece for this stuff, and you need to stop. All right, a little bit more interesting material. We've got this lens. That's what we call it when it doesn't have the box. We call it a lens, all right? And it's a cameo, and something like this at 40% silver, it's not on the top of my wish list. It doesn't have its original box. I'm sure that $44 is a fair price to ask for it, but a lot of times when we're gonna look at this stuff, they're very, very common. The fact that it's graded by NGC is the only thing that helps, but a lot of them are proof 68 because they're still in those sealed white pieces of plastic. And something like this, in a proof, I'll be looking at my charts here, okay? And so it's got $20 worth of silver in it, okay? If I could get $30 for that, that would be gone in a heartbeat. So how much am I gonna pay for it, okay? We're gonna be at 15. Again, yeah, if you got one of these to sell, you can get $30. You could maybe even get $44 for it. But do you have 1,000 that you have to sell today and another 1,000 you have to sell tomorrow? That changes your thought process when you're sitting in my shoes. And you have to then take the risk of 1,000 items going up and down. I remember when silver was at 119 and then 3 days later it dropped down to the 80s. You were very happy selling to me at the $80 and $90 an ounce then because I got stuck holding the bag. Silver proof set, same thing. All right, Clad Eisenhower, okay? I'm not a big fan of Eisenhower. Raise your hand if you're a huge Eisenhower Clad dollar fan because you can call me and I will virtually give these things away to you. Yeah, $25. One of them is $90. I would cut that price in half. I would do $45. You know, I am not super thrilled when I see Ikes in the 65. There's plenty of Ikes out there in the 65, and then they throw them in an NGC holder. it doesn't rock my world. It's very common stuff. It's perfect for like a whatnot stream. So when I'm looking at something like this, I would not be paying much. $5, maybe $10. It looks like we paid at least $10 a piece for them, but we're asking 20. But we got to sell it. That's why I'm here talking to you about it very rawly on screen. $15, $20 a piece. That is where we would be on stuff like that. That one's silver, so that one's a little bit better. But look, they're not uncommon. I just happen to have, half a dozen of them sitting here. More of them. So somebody either won a collection. No, they're all 74S's, 73S's. So this looks like something that somebody won out of a show. But if you bring this in and you're going to try and dump it to somebody, they're not going to pay you full gray sheet for this. This is never going to happen. Maybe you'll get the $20 a piece for it if they need the product, but I don't generally need the product. All right, now these are your bread and butter. We like to see stuff like this. This is definitely something worth more investing in. These ICG holders, I don't mind them. They bring a little bit less than the PCGS holders. This is the new generation for ICG. I like ICG. I don't care about the acronym. I can't grade, blah, 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 blah. You know what? For $15, $18 to have it certified, the new guy that took over was a former NGC grader. They've done a lot to increase their reliability, and they're a lot stricter. This is what the new holders look like. And they're comparable to a lot of the other grading services right now. If you're in my world, in the professional coin dealer world, every single time we get together for a convention, all they ever do is bitch about how NGC, PCGS, and CAC, they're having a lot of problems with the grading services and how the reliability of the coins going in are not on par. So let's just add ICG to the mix. None of these guys are perfect. Remember, we buy the coin and not the plastic. But again, on common date stuff, min state 62, min state 63, common dates, you're looking at $45 across the board on coins like this. And then we got to wait and hope that you want to give me $80. But realistically, I think wholesale on these are like $65 a piece, $75 a piece. So that's what's going on in my head. So if you come in the door and you've got everything itemized down, I'm not your guy. You get to take the time to try and sell every single one of these one at a time, according to what your red book sells. And I hope you got a really loud microphone and a lot of viewers, because your local coin store is not going to be paying you CPG prices. They're not even going to pay gray sheet on a common date in the 62. There's millions of them. What do we need them for? 1 ounce rounds. No, Canadian, 80% silver, okay? That's foreign silver. I'm going to be below melt. I'm going to be at about 75% of melt on foreign silver because I don't have anybody that ever comes in the door and says, I want a Canadian silver dollar, okay? It's just that easy. They're not going to come in the door and say, I want a Canadian silver dollar. Here's a raw 1879 Morgan, so you're looking at about $40 on something like that. And every day, God help me, there is some sweet old lady that comes in and she says, I looked this up and it's $400. It's not. I'd gladly sell it to you for $65, okay? That's just how it is. It's not graded, it's not certified, it's a raw, and it doesn't rock my world. Don't even know, a couple bucks on something like that. Buffalo nickels. Wholesale on Buffalo nickels, I want to say right now, full date Buffalo nickels, I think it's about 75 cents a piece. Most of these dealers then are going to give you 50 cents a piece for this. And most of us don't even take the time to search them. We might flip open the front of the roll to see if there's full horns or something like that. And if not, we're done. It's better just put that on an auction as an unsearched roll, which I do all the time because I'm not going to get into it. More Canadian silver dollars. This is a flat rate, $10, $15 a piece type of stuff. More Canadian silver. What's left of a prestige set. So that's barely above a mint set. that's it. That's what's in my head when I'm looking at this stuff. I'm looking at $40, $50 units, $10, $15 units. I'm putting it on a chart on the side, $10, $15 a piece on this type of stuff. On these rolls, you know, you're paying maybe $20 a roll, and you're moving on. And done. We're done with all these coins. We're not going through your whole list. Not until you get to coins that are like 1883 Carson City Mint State 65. Now I got to take the time in a PCGS. I got to take the time to now go to the gray sheet and look at 80% of bid, 85%, 90% tops if it's got some color or some beauty to it. It needs to be a nicer, more desirable, rarer coin. You can't just be common. I'm not going to pay top dollar for common. That stuff is going to get wholesaled. Nobody's going to drive across the state to come here and look at a common 22-piece dollar in Mint State 63. That's every day, all day, everywhere, all over Facebook, Marketplace, whatnot. This is the places where you can really get yourself into some hurt. And I'm not going to say that I'm not going to do the same thing as all the rest of them. Like I said, I'm going to be brutally honest. Okay? When you go into a coin store and you sell this type of stuff, you're going to get melt. Okay? And the guy that sold it to me is a regular customer. He was very happy about getting melt for it. So you're getting $65 a piece, and then the retail price tag on these are $175. The reason the retail price tag is $175 is because one of these sell a month. So we have to wait and wait and wait and wait and wait for the right person to come in and buy this. We have to take all the risk of the intrinsic value of it going down. But if the price of silver is 20 or the price of silver is 100, the price on this is still $175. We're selling the Star Wars, name and theme on stuff like this. And we've got Disney, we've got Mickey Mouse, we've got Cinderella, we've got Fender guitar, we've got Harry Potter. They hawk every name they can and throw it onto this bullion. And if you're paying this type of high dollar, God bless you, that's fine. You're my once a month customer. Just realize when you go to trade it in, you're just going to get silver. I've never had a person come in and say, no, I've got to get more. It's not liquid like that. There's no category where I can go to a major wholesaler and say, will you buy 25 Star Wars today? Will you buy 25 Fender guitars today? No, they won't. They will. Number one, there's not even a category for it. And number two, they probably treat it as an unpackaged miscellaneous. So they're going to be paying $3 behind melt. So guess where we're paying? We're going to be at melt or $3 behind melt. And this is the perfect stuff for me to put on a wheel and whatnot. It's one of those grand prizes. That's where all this came from. Somebody bid $20 a spot on 50 spots, and this is one of the grand prizes, and he won this stuff. So that's what's going on. So in my head, when you're bringing this stuff in, $55, $55, $55, $60, $60, $60. That's what's in my head, $60. Engelhard, real cool piece. Ooh, platinum. And we paid up for it. We paid $1,500 for it. And this was before the price of platinum dropped to $1,700. So on that, there's not as much margin. So if we can get full spot for it, we're going to make $200. Again, we take all the risk. This has been sitting here for several days. I've been around so long that I could be underwater on this next week. So I'm not going to apologize for spending $1,500 to make an 8% profit margin. Okay? Got the wrong guy. Beautiful piece. Paid $150 for it, asking $275. Okay? Brutally honest. There's 1-2 guys out there that'll pay full price for it, but for every 2 guys out there that will actually pay up for a piece like this, 90% of people will say, I'll give you spot. They want to be just like me without the overhead. So it's a beautiful piece, but it's not like it's a rare numismatic. It's a made-up piece. $80. Okay, regular piece dollar probably paid $50 or $60 for something like that. Geiger silver. It's still just silver, guys. It's nothing super special. These are the worst. These like made-up figurines, Reagans and George Bushes and whoever this cowboy is, or the Theodore Roosevelt. It's 1 ounce silver round. There's nothing special about it. Okay, modern caps, right? No box, no paper. Another Canadian below melt. A lot of people don't like Chinese. I can tell you that right now. A lot of people don't like Chinese. They do not sell fast. So when my customers come in the door, this is the last item that is going to move. And we're going to be about $4 or $5 behind spot. Engelhard Miner. Engelhard Miners, they used to bring a premium. They used to be on par with an American Silver Eagle. Now they're basically another silver round. A lot of people got tired of getting burned. You know, silver went through the roof. There were people in my office yelling and screaming because we wouldn't pay them full price when silver was at 119. That's because half the refiners in the country had shut down and they wouldn't buy it from us at all. And they were paying 15% behind spot if we wanted to unload it on them. But somehow that didn't get through the general public. We're the bad guys. We took all the heat, and that's cool. 100-gram fine silver. That's just going to be melt. Cool piece, okay? I can tell you right now, people will pay a lot for a piece of silver with a skull, with boobs, with a car. If we shape the silver into a weird form, suddenly it brings 50% more. But let me tell you, when you recycle it and you turn it back in, it's still just silver. Look, raw silver, same thing. A diamond-shaped silver, that's a cool piece. These are perfect, again, for whatnot shows, because somebody in the bidding is going to frenzy and they're going to pay $110, $120 for a piece like this. Just remember, though, that you're going to lose half your money when you go around and turn it and sell it. You know, I get always scared about packaging like this. Kind of like the rule of thumb is that the more the packaging and the ooh la la of the coin, the more you're probably getting screwed, okay? The guy that sold us this coin collection here with all these mint state proof, he bought this collection something like 15 years ago, and he still paid 2 times the retail price 15 years ago than what it is now. I think he was paying something like $7,000 for this coin. He went to one of these online website type places or late night show places, and you know the research. I'm telling you how it is. So the research is there. You can go on YouTube and watch a guy like me be really honest about it, or you can go get burned when you go to actually send it in yourself. That is a 1 ounce silver round. There's nothing special about it, but trust me, it's going to bring double because it's monopoly. Okay, somebody just wants a monopoly. Here's a cool, you know, reverse proof season greetings. Once again, perfect for whatnot. Right around Christmas, brings double. Half ounce silver rounds, the same thing. All of this stuff is melt. A wishbone, freaking cool, right? Somebody will pay up for a wishbone. Melt. Lucky horseshoe. Melt. You know, spot plus $3. That's what we sell it for, by the way. Okay? Spot plus $3 on this weird shape here. This one I would probably ask for $5 over spot. But this is perfect again for my whatnot wheel, because there I'll make $100. And when that guy gets desperate one day and wants to sell it, it's going to go down to 65, 60. Spot, final eternal justice, whatever, 1 ounce round. That's cool. Limited edition, MK bars, 3 ounce. I bet this thing is $400 somewhere right now. Okay, but when you go turn it in, it's going to be $118. Proof Eagle. All right. So, again, you're turning it in, and in the dealer's head, he's counting everything up, and he is saying 50, 55, 60 bucks. Unless he's just slow, you know, unless this is a retired person that this is the only collection he's going to buy for this month, and he's just doing it for the fun of having a cup of coffee and going to the flea market. You know, our overhead here is thousands of dollars a day between our marketing and our payroll. So, you know, we're going to have to make a profit margin. And you heard me spewing from the mouth. Our profit margin is somewhere between 20 and 30%. That's wholesale. If I want to pull the trigger on this and just melt this stuff, I'm going to be at about 15 to 20%. But if I take the time, I put in extra effort. There's so many times that I'm here till 2 o'clock in the morning, that I'm here till 10 o'clock at night. I put in 80 and 100-hour weeks, number one, because I get paid well to do it, but two, I love what I'm doing. It is very interesting for me to research and look all this stuff up. But it took me 5 years to build the Real Coin Guy Facebook group with my father to 10,000 members. So when I put this on here, I'll get a premium more than other people. but that didn't happen overnight. I put in a lot of time. Next. All right, now we're getting somewhere. This is cool, okay? This has got a little bit of toning, a little bit of skin. It's in an annex holder. Some of these are great for upgrades, so I'll slow down. I'll take my time on this. I'm gonna pay closer to $55.60 when it comes to stuff like this. Something like that, the same thing, $55.60. There is a dealer's portal that we can look, and we know that we're gonna get $68 to $73 a piece. Anything slabbed in an NGC holder or PCGS or CAC, we get a guaranteed rate of 68 or 73 or 77. I can't remember off the top. 82 in the 64. It's like this cookie cutter price, no matter what it is. So we generally will pad ourselves about $10 for every single coin, and that's it. That's how it really works. You know, you go look it up. Yeah, it's $125. Great, go sell it yourself. Get your $125. You know, you're not going to get all that because there's going to be fees. So you're really only going to net $110 and do all the work yourself. And that's how you're going to get top dollar. But you're not going to get it when you're coming into a coin store, you know. Just realize that there's overhead. Carson City, cool piece, okay? We paid up for it. We paid well over $200 to get it and under $3, okay? And I think on that one we're asking $375. So paid $300 to get a $75 profit margin. Min-state 63, 61s. I hate that score. 61 is such a chicken crap score. You know, it's just, I hate it. I'd rather have a lot of guys would rather have an AU 58 than a 61, 62, 60. But there they are. So 63, 63. This stuff is going to go into piles. And I'm going to look it up and see, all right, what are the wholesale major places paying right now? Are they giving me $70 a piece? I can put these all into a category and I can click a button and move 30 of them at a time. That's why I like coins more than sports cards, because you can't do that with a sports card. You can't just say, I want to sell 18 Michael Jordans today to the same person. They won't do it. But, you know, some of my coin buddies, they'll take everything here, no problem. These are cool. I'm hoping that these are Carson Cities. Again, I haven't looked at this collection. My guys did all this. I'm just kind of reviewing it for you. Cool. All right, so this is a little bit more interesting. A lot of people like these Carson City hoards. Wholesale on this one is $295. Okay, so we probably paid $250 for it. Wholesale dealers will give you $295. It's been $295 for more years than I can count. And we're asking full retail at $455. Doesn't mean that I'm going to stick with that number. Most of the time I don't. Will I let them go at about $350 a piece? Sure, no problem. This is a great one for a show. I think I saw this when we did our first video. This is the Redfield collection. There was a multimillionaire who hid like millions of coins or something like that in the wall. You know, it's just cool. It's a little bit different than your normal Morgan. It was usually a higher grade. That one actually has some nice PL looking surfaces to it, with a little bit of toning. That one's really pretty. And we paid up for it. You know, like, we're a professional coin shop, so we didn't tell the guy when he came in $50 for a coin like that. We didn't tell him $50 a piece on the Carson City. We take the time to look, and that's why it's important. You know, there's some guys out here, I don't know what their former career was. You know, they were a school teacher or a carpenter or airplane pilot, whatever it is. That's besides the point. The point is that, you know, for me, I've been doing this my whole life. I've been in the coin business with my father since I could walk. I've been counting coins since I was 4 years old. My son has been going to school at Colorado State University for coins since he was 14. He'll be attending the major ANA World Fair of Money with me all week long, taking counterfeit courses. So by the time he is ready to be a professional dealer, he'll probably have more experience than most grown men who were car salesmen a week ago but put a sign up that says I'm a coin dealer. So you really should do your research on who you're working with when you're selling your coin collection, because are they going to give you $200, $250 for the coin, or are they just going to lump it in with the rest of these at $50 a piece? You know, the more you know, right? These things are terrible. They're really pretty. They present well, but you're not going to get much for them when you go to liquidate them. These 3-piece Kennedy sets, they sit and sit and sit. It's really pretty. We probably paid about $60 for it, and I would dump it to anybody that wants to call at $100. We get them all the time. Pretty piece again for like a whatnot show or an auction. You can see the retail price, $130. You know, it's a fair price. I'm sure they're more expensive. Wow, this guy had a lot of lenses. All right, so here's a $375 one. So the $425 one's a score of a 64. The $375 one is a score of a 63. Again, wholesale on these are $295. I can make one phone call and sell them all off for $295 to $300 a piece. $375 is a fair price. That's the price on everybody's table at any coin show I go to. We're trying to make a $50 to $75 spread. That's how it works. Oh God. All right, so old ICG holders. This is the type of stuff that's on Whatnot. This is like a giveaway, okay? You're barely going to get above melt when you turn these in, but they sell all day long for $5, $10, and $15 a piece. So just know that these are the type of coins that you're going to get $1 a piece when you go to turn them in, but they're high profit for coin dealers, right? If I put this up on an auction, somebody's going to pay me $5, $10, $15 a piece. So they're great for that. Don't bother trying to look up a 1958 D and a 64 and asking that you want $8 a piece for it from a coin dealer. It's never going to happen, okay? A regular pocket change. This is just pocket change that somebody put into an ICG holder. So ICG is great if you're in Whatnot because these are the giveaways from Whatnot shows. That's what this is. All of this. It's junk. $1 a piece. That's what I'm saying in my head. We're almost done, believe it or not. I mean, this is a guy's lifetime collection, and I'm going to get through it here in like 30 minutes. How much time's on the clock right now? 28. 28, see? There you go. Mint State 65, doesn't rock my world. A lot of pretty, look, this came in today, okay? All right, look. Look at the condition, still AUBU roll. There's plenty of rolls of stuff like this out there, okay? This doesn't rock my world. We're asking 220, I take 150, call. You know, we paid 100 though. Again, you can't just look this up as a piece of silver. You got to know what you're doing. All right. And again, the retail price on this 220, I would take 150. I paid 100. I don't feel bad about that. Maybe I'll move it today. Maybe I'll shoot a video in a month from now if you say I'm a crook because I only paid 100 for that and it's still sitting here. Are you going to pay my electric bill? 83 Carson City, Mint State 63, 275. Is the buy price, sell price on that is 350. That's how tight it gets. All right. Now this is one of the coins that we would pay up for, okay? Because it's got toning. This is the type of coin that dealers will fight over because it's got that pretty tone to it. All right, so this one I'm gonna pay $200, $300, whatever I need to essentially to get this coin because I do prefer the color. I do prefer the toning. ICG Morgan in the Mint State 66, you got to treat it like it's a 65 and or a raw. Most dealers are going to think that way. They're going to buy that way. Brilliant uncirculated. All right, so it's just a regular AUBU Morgans. What do AUBU Morgans trade at right now with wholesalers? That's pretty. A PL 64, 575. That's one of our better coins. Another one, okay? But we paid $350 to get it. Call me up right now and give me $575. I bet you don't, okay? I got $350 tied up in it, times how many more coins? When do I get to make $100? 105 bucks on that 62. That's pretty. Proof 67 Franklin from 54. It's an older, you know, it makes me wonder, you know, how far off am I? You know, that's the proof, of course. This is a Mint State, but that looks like a pretty nice roll. These guys here are very hard to move. These modern proof dimes and quarters and pennies. Looks like it came from the proof set. Yeah, somebody took a 54 proof set, broke it apart. That's what they did. They got it all graded. That one's pretty. I like the new CAC holders. A lot of people like the CAC. and it's got some color to it. And we paid up for that one. We paid $195 for that one. And with that toning on it, we're probably asking a premium. More CAC. CAC should be an easy sell. What do we got here? Another Carson City, another 78 Carson City. So we probably paid $150, asking $250. There's another Carson City. Again, I have to sell all of this. 1 gram, melts for $141, purchase price $121. So I'm writing it down, you know. We paid a lot for this one. A 2021 in PCGS Mint State 70 Morgan Dollar 100th anniversary. This is an expensive coin. We're asking $2,000 for this coin. Here's the 85 Carson City. We're asking $675 for that one. Mint State 62. Another cat coin there. 2021 CC Privy. Pretty coin. I don't even have a price on these. So I would just look these up on the gray sheet, and I would be paying at 80% of the gray sheet. Adding it all up, quantifying it from there. And we're pretty much done. I don't even have to look. Ikes in the plastic, Ikes in the lens, Ikes, $10 to $15 a piece. If you want these at melt, if you want these at like $22 a piece, they're all yours. It's that fast, it's that easy. But remember that the retail price on this is $40, and if you looked it up, it's $50. And I'm a crook if I'm only paying $10. Good luck. Okay, that's all I got to tell you. These are a pain in the ass. Okay, you can't sell it easily on a show. You have to then box it and package it and ship it. I will give this away. If you come to the vault and you watch this video, it's yours. You can have it. All right, it's pocket change with stamps. This is just common circulated silver that they've packaged together. They threw some stamps on. They charge somebody 10 times more than it's really worth. If you bring it in, you're only going to get melt when it looks like that. And we're almost done. The silver dollar proof set, another lens, modern commemoratives. Okay, I can't say this strongly enough on the modern commemoratives. They are really pretty coins, dime a dozen, extremely hard to sell. When I go to some of my wholesalers, sometimes it's closed, they won't even buy it. And I'm looking, and modern commemoratives. 2 different categories, proof and BU. Okay? They're paying $46 a piece, you're gonna get $40 a piece. Okay? That's it. What is that type of a profit margin? 46 minus 15%? Not even. So I'm making a 12% profit margin. If you bring me a modern commemorative, I'll give you $40 a piece. I'm going to sell them for 46, but I'm not really going to get 46. I still have to pay the shipping. I have to still pay the insurance, and I have to pay the employee and the overhead. So there you go, right? You sell these, you're going to get $40 a piece. I might get to net $4 a piece on these, but Brian, I looked it up and it's $75. Have fun, go get it. That's how it works. So when you're liquidating, you're wholesaling essentially, except for if it's a really pretty, better date piece with some color that we're going to fight over for something like that, or a little bit of a rarer date. But 95% of this collection, except for maybe 5 coins out of all this, is common stuff that is going to get wholesaled. So you're going to get below wholesale because we're not going to take the risk for it to drop. I hope that helped. I hope that was educational. I wasn't trying to be rude. I was just trying to tell you how it really is, you know, because some people want to enjoy collecting and they enjoy the hobby and they enjoy adding to their set, but at the same time, they're hoping that this is something that can leave to their children that's an investment. So invest wisely, know what you're doing. Brian at the Vault & Co. Take care.